Well, welcome. I want to say welcome to folks here at Lawrence. I want to thank Lawrence Cable Access Television for this opportunity. Tony Palmisano here with the St. Alfio Society to do our annual pre-feast show. So I want to thank Executive Director Tom Spillari and his staff, Sarah Bidwell and her crew, for giving us the opportunity to talk to you over the next 30 minutes about this year's feast, some of our plans, some of our exciting and new events. And joining me is my good friend and current council member from Methuen, Joe Bella. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Tony.
Not only is Joe he's on the council, but he's also taken on the responsibility again this year to being a feast raffle chairman. And he'll probably talk about that in a moment, but one of our primary vehicles for fundraising to underwrite sort of the expenses that we have for running the feast is the feast raffle. And the prices this year have stayed the same, and you want to just review the prices and the prizes, Joey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the tickets are $2 a piece, $2 each.
But nobody buys one ticket, Joe.
Or
Or
a book of 7 for $10.
For $10.
So you save a few bucks if you buy the book. The prizes are first prize, $5,000 cash. Second prize, $1,000 cash. And third prize, $500 cash.
right. And when will the raffle be concluded?
The raffle will take place on Sunday, September 1st at 10:15 p.m.
Right. We'll bring the drum out and we'll do the little.
You do not have to be present. We'll call you when you
Exactly.
win. I'm not saying if. When you win, we'll call you.
Right. And during the feast, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if somebody is interested in buying a raffle ticket, where will they be able to purchase a raffle ticket?
Right Way Travel in Methuen, Merrimack Street, Methuen sells, and they've been selling them there too. So
Good.
get over there quick, folks. Right Way Travel, or call me. What's my phone number?
Sure, go ahead.
Area code 978-837-2727. We still have quite a few books left, but they are going.
Excellent. Excellent. And if you're at the feast and you wanted to purchase a ticket, I know you set up some tables. Where do you actually set up your tables?
This year, 2 tables.
Oh,
Last
2
year we
tables.
had 3 because of the 100th anniversary.
There you go.
One table will be in front of the society at 20 Common Street, and the second table will be across from Tripoli Bakery, again on Common Street, near where there'll be the rides, that side of the Common Street.
Yeah, we'll have, so that's kind of a new exciting, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But
Yes.
so this year we have 2 locations, one in front of our building and one across the street from Tripoli's.
Right across
And
from
we'll have
Tripoli's,
2 locations where you can buy the raffle tickets. And again, for those folks that are out there that are familiar with the feast, and this is our 101st feast this year. So congratulations to St. Alfio's and the Society and to all the men and the families that helped put this great event together for the community. That's how I view it. I view this as a community event where we bring people together from the neighborhoods, people together from the Merrimack Valley to support this great event, which is really about family, fun, entertainment, spirituality, and then a lot of free entertainment. So again, Joey, thanks for your hard work, and thanks for, again, being the chairperson of the Feast Raffle. And you mentioned the Tripoli's area, which is basically on the other side of the parking lot, is the municipal parking lot. And if for those folks that came to the feast last year, if you recall, last year we had a second stage, a beautiful second stage of entertainment. And that went very well. And there was a beer tent that was there, and adjacent to the beer tent was Crispelli USA, who did extremely well in terms of his food. And so back in January of this year, Joe Delali was doing some research. We've been talking about getting a carnival and rides, specifically rides, to the feast for literally the last 10 years. And the challenge, to be perfectly frank, is that the space that we have to use, the footprint, to keep it within the footprint of the feast, not to go into the common, because that's more space, was really the challenge. But we were able to find a company out of Wilbraham, Massachusetts called Manual Amusements. And they are a total carnival experience. So not only will they bring 6 to 7 different rides, they also have really nice games, and they also have the cotton candy, the candy apples, the fried doughs, all those types of foods that you would see similar to if you went to, say, the Topsville Fair, and you have a complete carnival experience. So very, very, very happy to announce that we developed a 2-year partnership with Manual Amusements. Hopefully it goes really well, and they'll continue to come back year in and year out. And so this year, if you haven't seen this is our feast poster this year. And besides the Saints and obviously what we do with the Saints and the festival, you'll see new this year carnival rides. And we're very excited about the carnival rides. So if I can say 2 more things about the carnival rides is, one, there'll be, as I said, 6 to 7 different carnival rides that will be in the municipal parking lot. The price per ride, this was a concern. We wanted to keep the pricing reasonable and fair so that everyone made money, but we didn't want to price out anybody. So the rides are going to range between $3 and $5 a ride. You can buy day passes, which will give you unlimited rides. I don't know what those are going to be, but I know that the fairness of the pricing I just mentioned is within the scope of what the rides would be and what I'm being told on the lower end. So again, for a lot of young families out there who have smaller kids who come to the feast, I know that the kids get bored after they play a few games. They get bored. Now that we have the carnival, there's more action, more activities for them. So again, I want to reach out to everybody out in the Merrimack Valley, especially folks in Lawrence, to come on down and participate with us, enjoy the feast, and looking forward to seeing you at the feast and taking advantage of all the new carnival rides and the carnival games that Manual Amusement is going to offer. So that's really one of the big news this year, is that we finally were able to secure a carnival that that really works within the scope of what we do. Fiesta Shows is a very big group, and the problem when we talked with Fiesta Shows, just to give a little bit of background history, Joe, is that they were like, yeah, but you guys are too small. Like, we bring 50 rides. We don't have the space for 50 rides. This group has the space to be able to accommodate us in terms of number of rides and for them to make it profitable. So we're a perfect size for them based on their business model. And that's great for us, and obviously going to be great for our guests and families that come this year to the feast. So on that note, Joey, do you want to talk about the opening this year?
The opening Friday.
Yeah, this Friday.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Hard to remember everything.
There you go. Go ahead.
Feast opens 6 p.m. and we'll meet at Lawrence City Hall on Common Street, and we have a procession.
Yeah, a parade procession.
Right. Traditionally, Lawrence Mayor has always been...
Yeah, Lawrence Mayor, the City Council, Chief of Police,
in attendance.
Some other local dignitaries will join us, and so forth, yes.
Yeah. And I think we have fireworks.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fireworks.
Yeah, so it may be a little
couple
noisy,
bands, a little fireworks.
a little smoky and noisy.
Yeah,
but
it'll be good.
It's good, yeah.
All right.
And then 7 p.m., full circle band.
Right. So back to what I said earlier. Last year, if you again remember, last year for the 101st, we had two bandstands, and the idea behind the 2 bandstands was to have more. I'll use the word traditional music at the main bandstand, which is on the South Union Street, and then the Tripoli stage area. Where we were doing the rides this year was more sort of, I'm going to say modern music. Yeah. And it was great. It really, that way it would appeal to different demographics.
Exactly.
But this year we have one bandstand, and we're trying to do a little bit of all the music down there.
Yep.
And so you're right, Full Circle, which is kind of a rock and roll band, they'll be on at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And then at 9 o'clock is going to be a classic Italian music. Yeah. Now, the name of the band is now called Scanzonati.
Scanzonati.
Now, that's Stefano Marchesi. So last year, we promoted the band as Stefano Marchesi, and he is the band leader, but they changed their name to this, Scanzonati. So for those folks that came last year, and I think he performed Saturday night last year, it was fantastic.
Right.
There's, I think, 6 or 7 musicians, and they're all musicians and professors at Berklee School of Music. So they're very, very good musicians.
Wow.
And they'll be performing on Friday night. That's our Key Entertainment Friday night
Right.
at the main bandstand, again on
Right.
South Union Street and Common Street.
Yep.
So that will be that.
And then the feast will close at 11
11
p.m.
o'clock, and
Yep.
then, so let's talk about a couple of things. So in the main parking lot this year, will also be Donna's famous sausage sandwiches. We'll have the big tent. We'll also have Billy Griffin with his Italian food. We'll have some bakery inside there, and then we'll have the slush that we sell, that the
Right.
society sells, will be inside there.
Yep.
And that will be all self-enclosed within the Tre Santi Cafe area.
Yeah, between the Holy Rosary Shrine
That's
and
right.
the society.
And the society,
building.
right. So we're looking forward to having people come down and participate in the cafe area,
Right.
similar to what we've done in the past. And again, we'll have the big tent where people can go up, grab some food, go in there, meet with other friends, family members, sit down, have a bite to eat, and then have a seat, and then participate in wherever else they're going to go to.
Right.
Remember, all the entertainment, free parking, right? Where's
Yeah.
the best place to park, my friend? Tell people where it is.
I always park behind the Everett Mill.
There you go. Park behind the Everett Mill. Free parking, lighter parking.
few
and
steps.
And the second thing is all the entertainment is free. So none of we don't pay for any. We don't ask anyone to pay for anything except for your food, entertainment, and your beverage. Oh, also inside the cafe this year will be the beer tent. I didn't realize we're going on year 5 now. I thought it was year 4, but no,
Yeah.
I was corrected. I was asking our treasurer, Bill Schofield. He said, no, we're on year 5. So this is year 5 now of the beer and wine tent being back, and that seems to have done pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And again, the pricing is very reasonable. So if you get a sausage sandwich or a plate of pasta and you want to have a seat and you want to have a drink, come into the beer tent, wine tent, grab a drink, sit down, enjoy the music, and enjoy yourself. So, but we'll have 2 beer and wine tents. We're going to have one there, and we'll have the one back on the other side where we had it last year, across the street from Tripoli's.
Yep.
So we'll have 2 beer and wine tents. And again, I want to thank our Joe Modolo, similar counselor, and Joe Delali for coordinating that. It's a lot of work that weekend to coordinate that.
Right.
So that's that.
Yep.
On Saturday, you want to give everyone the rundown on Saturday, my friend?
Saturday, August 31, 12 p.m. the feast opens.
Right.
Or 12 noon. The feast will open, and 3 p.m. Forever the Girl. And that would be on the bandstand.
Yeah, main bandstand, right.
Yep, on the Union Street.
Another similar rock and roll type of music. So I'll tell you what's happened. I don't know if you're aware of this, but so the entertainment committee, which consists of Joe McQuarrie, Jimmy Cimitaro, and Joe Delali, and then Wayne Peters. I should mention this. So this year I asked Wayne Peters to be the co-feast chair again, along with John Caprioli. And so what they do is they divvy up certain responsibilities for certain committees. And Wayne kind of oversees and works with the entertainment guys that have done a fantastic job. And so what I wanted to say is that we're at a point now where when we start looking at entertainment, we put together obviously a budget, and then we try to figure out what we're going to spend. But we're getting inquiries. We're getting people calling us now. It's been going on for a couple of years, especially starting more so last year. And they're saying, oh, I've heard about your festival. We are performers. We do this kind of music. Is there opportunity? So they're calling us now to try to get a slot within our feast for them to perform. And that's kind of a nice feeling to have, that people are actually calling us now.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's similar to what happened this year. So we had these folks a few years ago. That's Ray Massey. They're performing at 9 o'clock after the Torchlight Parade.
Oh, yeah.
So Ray Massey's Eurorhythms, those guys are from Ohio. And they performed here like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6, prior to COVID. And they were great.
Yep.
And so what happened is they contacted the entertainment guys and said, hey, we're looking to do a couple shows up on the East Coast. And so if we can get you to commit, we'll give you a reduced rate because we're going to be in the area for a few days, and we'll do 2 shows and we'll cut the expenses. And that really worked out best for us too.
Oh, yeah.
But that was one of those situations where they contacted us and said, we're going to be available. Would you like to book us? We said, you guys are great, and especially, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So entertainment's really come full circle in terms of, now we have a venue that people really want to be part of.
Right.
Because, it's lively, it's vibrant, it gives, and we have good crowds. We have good crowds of people that are very, I can't tell you how many years this has been, but it's been a lot of years for the B Street Bombers to come and perform, and they close out the show. And I can't believe how many people they draw on a Sunday night after 3 full days of feasting, that people still want to come out and party and enjoy the music. And they're there until the very end of the night because it's the B Street Bombers, and they just have a great following of people.
Usually people are dancing.
They're dancing, they're having a good time. And that's what it's about. It's about having a good time in a safe and secure area. So back to the Saturday schedule. So besides the music, so one of the things I want to share with you and with our audience is last year let me take a step back. So Mike Lamazzo, who's a member who has developed some relationships with some celebrities in the area because of his show, The Sicilian Corner, is good friends with Marianne Esposito. So I asked Mike last year, I said, look, would Marianne be interested in coming and doing a cooking demonstration, and to support the feast? And he said, well, I'll ask. And she did, and it was very successful. It was incredibly successful.
I was there all the.
Was it? You had a good time?
Oh yeah, yeah. She was great.
And she was great, and a lot of people. So at the end of the feast, because for those folks that you see that we work hard for 3 days over the feast, but what you don't see is the number of hours prior to that we meet, starting basically in October, right after the feast, after we do a recap and start planning for next year's feast. But so what I said to Mike was, I said, I thought the cooking demonstration was fantastic. I said, is there another celebrity chef out there that would be interested? Because I think the cooking demonstration would be fantastic. And so he said, let me think about it. He came up with a couple names. And one of the names he came up with was this Oscar Figueroa, who is the executive chef at Grazi's Italian restaurant in Drake, that I think a lot of folks out there have been to. And my understanding is I've been there once, and it was fantastic. He is a great classically trained Italian chef, and he'll be doing the cooking demonstration at 4:30 under the cafe. And once again, I asked Mike Fusco to sort of coordinate that, and so I want to thank Mike for doing that. And then I look forward to that cooking demonstration at 4:30 on Saturday. That should be fun. And then after that, right after that, the Bellas will be performing.
No relation to me.
No Bellas. No relation to Joe Bella. But the Bellas will be performing, and it's I think the three women, and they do their own set. And that will be some entertainment starting at 6 o'clock. And then, as you know, I think other than the procession, which is on Sunday, I think the second biggest attraction for the members is the Torchlight Parade.
Oh, yes.
And so that will be on 7:30, and the 3 bands will meet in the center, right there at South Union, Newbury Street and Common Street. Newbury Street and Common Street.
Intersection.
So some of the news that some people probably don't know, and it's starting to trickle out a little bit, and obviously people will know when we get to the feast weekend, is that after 50 years, the St. Alfio Band, led by Sal Erna, is no longer. So we got a call back in April. I want to say it was April 10th. And it was that Sal decided to basically hang up his baton as the leader of the band. And so the St. Alfio Band is no longer. And so we had to go out and contact some other bands, and I'm happy to announce that Steve Marincelli, the Italian-American band, that has always been sort of the number 2 band with us, is now taking the lead position, and they'll be the lead band, similar to what the St. Alfio Band was under Sal Erna. So again, Sal had a great run, 50 years, and it was just time to retire. So that's that. So we'll have the 3 bands at the Torchlight Parade, and then after the Torchlight Parade, as I mentioned just a moment ago, Ray Massey, the Your Rhythms, will be performing at 9 o'clock, and that's again a great
Yep.
They're great performers.
Yes.
Great show performances. So we were talking prior to going on air about the Frolics in Salisbury
yeah.
Beach, and this is the kind of entertainment that would be highlighted at a Frolics. You know, I mean,
Right.
kind of like really classy.
Yeah.
Great musicians, and this is the kind of entertainment that we like to bring to our friends that come and support us at the feast.
Right.
All free entertainment.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Let's see. Last year, let's take a break and we can talk about Sunday tomorrow. But last year was our 100th, and there were a couple highlights that I personally think of. But I wanted to ask you, so last year's feast, in your mind, what were some of the highlights of last year's feast?
It certainly was a landmark feast.
Yeah, well, thank you, Joey. No,
It was unbelievable.
yeah,
And tons of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people showed up at that feast. Entertainment, fantastic. Everything worked out perfectly.
well, thank you.
Perfectly.
Yeah, a lot
I'm telling
of
you.
people did a lot of hard work.
Yes. It's just, it seemed like a long weekend, but yet it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody had a great time.
Right.
They really did.
So for me, besides the fact that I do think it was a very well-attended feast, and there were a lot of things for people to do, the single biggest highlight for me was the band, the Italian, the Sicilian band orchestra, and the tenor Salvatore
Yes.
Bonafini. And they were here basically, 10 days, and but they were fantastic. Not just because of the music, but I think because of the culture that they brought,
Yeah.
and the friendships that I think will last now lifetimes. And then Father, Greco from the Mother Church was here.
Yes.
Archbishop Reina from Catania was here.
Yeah.
So to me, those were sort of the landmark events of last year's feast.
Special visitors.
Special visitors. It was a
Yes.
fantastic feast.
Yes.
It was really quite nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully the momentum from last year's feast, we've been trying to make sure that this year the momentum continues and we can
Exactly.
build on it. And again, I think with this carnival, I think we're going to have a great
yeah.
opportunity
It's
to
a
attract
draw.
new families, younger families.
It's a draw for the kids.
Exactly, something for the
It
kids
really
to do.
is, yeah.
And again, we've been very diligent about making sure that the rides weren't that expensive, and so I think we're in a good situation. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about the carnival,
Right.
and for the opportunities that it presents itself.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. And that end of the street will be jam-packed with activities now.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be, like I said, my analogy is it'll be a mini Topsville Fair.
And this is why I kind of hope that we'd have a second raffle table there.
Yeah.
Primarily in.
Yeah, so I think we can capitalize
out.
on some of that.
It would
That'd be
work
great.
out. Yep.
All right. So Sunday obviously is our big day, and the first thing is, you want to go with the itinerary? Go ahead, please do.
Okay, September 1st, Sunday, 10 a.m., we have the feast mass in honor of the Three Saints at Holy Rosary Shrine. Anyone can attend,
Yeah.
and most all our members do attend.
And family members and friends.
Right, for the service. And then after that, 12 p.m., 12 noon, the feast opens Sunday.
Right.
12 noon. And then 3 p.m., the procession of the saints.
Right.
And that's when they're, the saints are, the Vada is moved to in front of the shrine on Union Street. And then the saints are lifted out,
Right.
up out of the first floor entrance up onto the Vada.
Right.
And there's always a crowd, and confetti, fireworks.
Yeah. All the above stimulations.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now you've been to Sicily a couple times, right?
Yeah, the first time was 23 years ago.
Okay. But you've been there recently.
Yeah.
What year was most recent though? 20, 21, 22,
I think it was 22.
22?
22.
So it's difficult to compare because what we do is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
it's very similar in terms of the celebration when the saints come out of the church in
Yeah.
Sicily,
Right.
where the saints come out of the statues come out of our building, out of the shrine onto our Vada, and that whole sort of a lot of cheering, a lot of outpouring of emotions.
Right.
It's very moving. So yeah. that's a highlight for me.
Yeah.
Is watching the Saints come out.
Definitely.
And on Sunday at 3:00.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once we get past the bandstand around 4:30, Sissy Castro Giovanni is going to be performing on the bandstand.
Right.
She'll be performing probably for an hour and a half or something
That's
like that.
Union Street.
Union Street, yes. Right.
When the Vada passes.
Exactly.
Passes by.
And then, depending on how long it takes, we'll get back to the society around 6:30, 6:45,
Yeah.
and then we'll do the Moment of Glory, which is really the sort of very emotional,
Yeah.
sort of playing the cantatas,
Yeah.
Amongst confetti, a lot of confetti, a lot of cheering. That's when, guys like Dominic Messina kind of lead the cheers.
Yeah.
And by that point, if you haven't lost your voice, you
You will.
You surely will. You surely will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
exciting.
then it's up to the title, Moment of Glory.
Right.
Which it ends
Right.
up being that
Right.
at that time.
And we released the doves,
Yep.
and the doves fly
Yep.
back, and it's a very emotional time
Yes.
for a lot of members.
Yep.
And the confetti, and it's an awesome experience. The balloons and
Yeah.
so forth and so
Exactly.
on. So it's good. And then we talked about it just a minute ago, and then once that's done, and the Saints go back into the church, which
Right.
would be about 7:30, 8:00.
Yep.
Then the B Street Bombers will get ready to perform, and they
Yep.
basically will close out the show.
Right.
And then we'll have the feast raffle at 10:15.
We have to bring out the raffle.
Yeah, well, that's your job, Joe. You bring it out under lock and key.
Yeah.
We'll get that going.
Yeah.
And then the feast closes, and then we clean up,
Yeah.
and then we go home and we collapse.
Yes,
And
we do.
It's crazy.
Yep.
In 3 days. But
Yep.
so there's a few people I want to remember, and there's a few people I want to thank in the few minutes we have left. So the first thing I want to say is I want to thank all the members for their support over the last 3 years. I have one more year as president, and it's been a great 3 years. I've had a lot of really good support. Not just for the man sitting here to my right, but a lot of the council members. We've had our challenges health-wise in terms of a lot of members over the last couple of years being sick. In fact, a couple of the guys that were really good friends of ours, and I'm talking specifically about Peter Messina, who passed away. He'll be really missed. I'm trying not to get too emotional, but Pete was a good friend of a lot of us, not just a friend, but more like a brother, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah.
So I want to just mention him. Another member who was very visible, not as active because it's just health-wise, was Sal de Bernardinis, who passed away as well, and he'll be missed. Sal was an interesting, sweet man, and he'll be missed. So we lost two really, I don't want to say special, but two members that were very close to the organization this past year, and I want to remember them. And I want to thank some of the guys that really took on some responsibilities this year. I want to thank Anthony Fioranti, who himself has been recovering.
Yeah.
He had a very tough year ago. I mean, he had heart issues, then he had some health issues, and he's really stepped up this year, helped with the program book and other areas. His brother Joey's been a big help. I want to thank Glenn Gary, Chuck Fuca for the lights, and we have new poles this year.
Yeah.
Like I said, Joe Madola's been stepping up. John Capioli and Wayne as the feast co-chairs. Al Despina's doing a phenomenal job as the secretary.
Yes.
Billy Schofield's done a great job as the treasurer. Mike Morley's done a great job as our liaison with the city of Lawrence with all the permitting. Joe Catulli and his crew with the vendors. So there's been a lot of people to thank. David Cucciaro with social media. So once again, the posters should be up and about in different locations up around the Merrimack Valley. We also have, for those folks in Lawrence, we did this last year. You'll see, and Joe is the one that's going up and down Essex Street and the neighborhood here, putting up Spanish posters. We have a poster in Spanish. So again, if Spanish is your first language, please, again, we'd love for you guys to come down to participate with us and join us for the feast. And I have to mention the Shrine Center and Father Peter, Father Andrew, Father Francis.
Yep.
We have had and we've developed a fantastic relationship with them. And anytime we need anything, they're there. We work very closely together. And so I want to thank them, the friars from Holy Rosary Shrine, because they have been just a great partner with us as well. In terms of partners, we have to thank Mark Battle this year, who basically came back in to do corporate sponsorships. So if I could just take 30 seconds, I just want to read off this year's platinum sponsors, no particular order. Trident, which is Gino Baroni, who's a member.
Yes.
The Zappler family at Tripley's Bakery, Easton Salt, the Teresi family at Jackson Lumber and Millwork, the gold sponsors, no particular order, Market Basket, Catadella's, JG's, Wind Waste, Age Span, Cody's, Donna's Famous Sausage. Want to thank the Massachusetts Office of Tourism and Travel for their support this year as a grant, the Mass Cultural Council as a support this year, and last but not least, need to thank the City of Lawrence and the mayor for his support and helping with the underwriting of some of the expense for the police and fire. And I believe he's been doing that for the other nonprofits and other events. So I want to thank the mayor for his support, because you know, Joe, we've talked about this in our meetings. If we don't have the support of the city, it'd be very, very difficult to run this festival. It'd be very, very difficult.
And expensive.
In fact, besides being more expensive, it'd be difficult. In fact, we've developed a really good relationship starting last year with we always had a good relationship with the two, what I consider bigger feast in the North End, Fishman's Feast, and that's Dom Struzzulo. And then last year with St. Anthony's, which we really didn't have a good relationship with St. Anthony's. And I think part of it is I think because every 7 years we conflicted, and there was not a lot of cooperation and sharing of information. But that changed last year, and now Mo Fabio, who is the president, and I have developed a really good relationship, kind of a working relationship. And so I want to say that I think the opportunities that we can share in terms of things that we have in common can benefit both organizations. And so I think this year St. Anthony's, the guys from St. Anthony's will be coming to our feast, and I know we've invited to their feast and to kind of support them as well. So it's one of those things that probably should have been happening prior, but that's okay. It's happening now, and that's a good thing. What do you want to say to the folks out there about coming to the feast? And
I have to say with all sincerity that we've been successful with the feast, primarily last year, the 100th, and with you being president.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Worked.
Very kind.
It worked.
Thanks.
If it wasn't for you, I don't know how things would have turned out. But again, I have to say, and the members, most all the members will probably back me up on this, that you ran the show. And then last year, the 100th, the biggest, that's a landmark.
That's very kind of you, Joey. Thank you.
And then you did it, Tony. You, as president, did your job above and beyond.
Well, I appreciate that.
I have to say that.
It's very kind.
Yeah.
Had a lot of support, and hopefully, as you saw in the last 30 minutes, I've been thanking a lot of members and people for their support and their hard work.
I'm thanking you.
No, and I appreciate that.
On behalf of the society.
And I really appreciate that. And the organization, for me, the organization has been a cornerstone in my life. I've been a member now. This is going to my 34th year.
Wow.
And I joined in 1990. And it's changed quite a bit,
Yes.
We can get into some of that. I mean, when I was a member back then, you went to meetings and you didn't say a word. You literally sat in the back of the room and you just didn't say a word. And then all of a sudden someone would say, "Hey kid, come over here." And you're like, "Oh, you talking to me?" "Yeah." "Okay, come over here." And they say, "Okay, go do that." And but that's how things would run, even though it's only 1990. That's how things were run back there, and we didn't have term limits, basically. So the guys that were presidents or guys that were vice presidents basically had those positions for their life.
Oh, yeah.
And then things changed I mean, drastically, and I've got to give credit to where credit's due. The 75th, Steve Zani, who was the president,
Right.
kind of put things into motion about having more people take accountability and being more vocal in terms of how the organization was going to run
Right.
or how the feast was going to get run. And it became more of a collaborative. And I think that's the best way to run these kinds of things. Even though, you know, I mean, we're all volunteers, but we are, I mean, you know who the guys that are committed. And the second thing I think I'll say is that, you know, I can see personally that, you know, the old adage, I know this is said to about a lot of organizations, that 20% of the guys do 80% of the work, right? If you go to the Sons of Italy, or you go to the Kiwanis Club, or you go to St. Alfio's, or any sort of, you know, civic organization similar to that, they will tell you, you know, that 20% of the guys, people, in some organizations that have women, 20% do 80% of the work. I want to say, as I'm sitting here right now, I think our number's grown. I think I could say that it's like 40% of the guys have now do, you know, 100% of the work, right? 99% of the work. So that core of guys that used to be 15, 20, 25 is now a solid 40, 45 guys.
Yeah.
And I'd still like to see more, and we're going to strive to continue to get more people involved. But the key is that, you know, the more hands, the lighter the load for everyone.
Right.
And that's sort of the management style and direction I like to take the organization into.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to thank the Vice President, Joe Mariano, this year. He's stepping up, doing a really good job, and then helping in the program book. We got a program book coming out this year.
Right.
We're going back to the old size, 6x9. That should be out like the first week of August, and those will be available too. We'll get those out in the distribution, and they'll also be available on the feast weekend. So please, anybody who is an advertiser in the program book, a sponsor, again, I want to thank them for participating and helping us out. So on that note, I just want to say thanks again. Welcome to the, I don't know how many annual this is, 15th, 20th annual feast, what I call feast pre-game sort of show to let anyone know about what's happening in this year's festival. Again, have any questions, go to our website that's run by David Cucciaro and his daughter Samantha help us. And the website is it's right on the bottom here, www.3saintsinc.org. So any information about the feast, if you have any questions, contacts, please, all the information is there. Again, I want to thank my fellow counselor, my good friend, Feast Raffle Chair Joe Bella for joining me. Former, you were on the committee here, weren't you? On the board of directors or something?
Oh, I was.
He was. He's no longer.
Retired.
He retired. But Joe Bella, I want to thank him. And again, don't need to be Italian. Don't need to be English speaking. All you need to do is be someone who wants to have a good time, family friendly environment. Come on down to the feast, enjoy yourselves. And as we say in Italian, buona festa, viva Sant'Alfio. Thank you. Thanks, Lawrence. Bye-bye.